have been tremendous. So we've had about as good a bowl week in preparation as I've seen. So we'll see how that translates Friday.
I was going to ask, there are obviously bigger bowls, but as far as, you got 18 to 22-year-olds, this is probably the perfect place for them to be during bowl season with all the theme parks and activities.
There's no doubt about that because, especially the way Dabo has structured things, giving them the opportunity to get some really good practice in, get some training in, but then leaving large blocks of time, which is all that's what's necessary to be able to go and enjoy the park. So having those large blocks of time of giving the young men and our staff here time to go and enjoy what Orlando's all about. And it's a great destination.
You have freed up some salary with Coach Morrisley. And have you and Dabo talked about maybe a Brent Venables extension or a raise, or maybe some of the other assistants with Tony and Jeff getting promotions?
We've talked about that, and we'll probably finalize all of that once we get back from the game.
How much of the what you did with the committee can you talk about right now? I didn't know. Our work's still in front. So you got to play the games, but it was a great experience, and I think that what went into putting that all together and the great work that the College Football Playoff Committee staff did gave the 12 of us the opportunity to really get all the information that we needed and come at it from 12 different directions, but really kind of create a consensus around those 4 teams that ended up playing in the playoff.
Have you received any friendly emails from Baylor or TCU fans talking about your selections?
The only thing I can tell you guys is, the College Football Playoff home base is in Dallas. So we were all leaving from DFW to go back to where we were. So I'm sitting on the airplane, and in the seat in front of us for about the first 30 minutes of the flight were 2, I think they were Baylor fans, just screaming about how the College Football Playoff didn't do them right. And of course, I sat there with my hat down and reading the book and said, "Okay, guys." And luckily, they got off in Atlanta before I did, and that was all I heard. But really, it's been. I think people looked at it and they said, these 4. It's kind of hard to argue with these 4, and just moving on from there.
What did you learn the most from this experience, being involved in it, and how it affects or doesn't help the ACC, Clemson, or anything like that?
Well, first of all, one of the major tenets of being on this committee, whether it was Oliver Luck, Barry Alvarez, Jeff Long, Pat Hayden, or myself, and it's been a huge tenet from the time we all got on the committee, is you leave your conference hat at the door, you leave your school hat at the door, you're here for all of college football, and it's not you're representing this conference or another conference, or certainly not your team, as you're recused when they're speaking about your team. So I don't know from a conference perspective if we learned anything. I just think it was a really good exercise in consensus building and people coming forward with different views. There were committee members who really liked certain teams. There were others who were a little lukewarm, and sometimes one was able to convince the other. There was a few aha moments along the way. Well, that's a great point. So let's explore that a little further. So it was a good process. Looking forward to having the opportunity again next year to go through it.
Did it wear people out?